Hey guys, Beach to Bush here. Today we're doing something a bit different. We've had a lot of rain recently in New South Wales. Some places getting up to 800 mil in one day. So majority of my waterways are completely fresh watered out. I've tried to do a fair bit of fishing still, with not much success. I even tried simple small hook bread fishing. There was nothing. I couldn't even see fish swimming around. As you can see behind me, this water here is completely brackished out. That's the ocean right there. So this should be like crystal clear almost. So that means today I'm going to do a bit of a rundown on my budget setup. This here, if you watched any of my previous videos, you may know and seen the boat a little bit. She's a 1998 Quintrex Breeze about, 4 meter. I picked her up for 4 grand, I think it was. The things that I've done to it is added this electric motor. It's a Watersnake 65 pound. This is the 60 inch. They have a 54 inch and I was a bit concerned that because this bow is a little bit raised, it wouldn't be able to reach the water, especially when I'm out ocean fishing. As you can see, I almost max it out. With the Watersnake, I also have a trolling head motor support. As you can see, this just stops the motor when I'm driving around either in the boat or it's on the trailer from jumping up and down and damaging the mechanism in there. I've also thrown some Velcro tape around the cables just to stop them slapping and sort of getting themselves destroyed. I take that off obviously when I deploy it, but yeah, that's just a cheap and easy way to stop these from bouncing around and hitting the pole, and they'll eventually degrade. So that's a good way to do it. With my trolling motor mount, I don't have a welded bracket. I've actually just mounted it straight to the bow. And this little lip here, I've just put some heavy duty rubber, don't know if you can see it, just the heavy duty rubber underneath, just to stop it from sort of flexing up and down, and it works really well. I was going to get a bracket made up, but this is way cheaper. I've just bolted it straight to this quick release bracket, and on the underside, I'll show you. I don't know if you can see that, that's a really thick piece of nylon. It's basically just a chopping board that acts as a big washer to displace the weight over instead of just using normal washers. That's a really cheap and easy way to do it, and if you're on a budget, awesome idea. Another thing with this Watersnake here is I've got the upgraded GPS, which allows me to shift 2 meters left, right, forward and backwards. It also stops the cable getting twisted around. It does sometimes work, but sometimes it thinks it's twisted, but it actually isn't, and it'll end up just doing donuts and you drift 5 meters off your spot and then it charges up towards the spot. So I'm a little bit on that, but for the feature of going left, right, forward and backwards when you hit the arrow buttons, I reckon it's definitely worth it for that. The other major upgrade I've done is the Lowrance Elite FS fish finder. I still have the original Garmin. I planned to use that as a bit of a plotter, and that is the fish finder, but I ended up just using that mainly because my girlfriend got me the upgraded card, which allows me to see all the reef offshore. As you can see inside, it's very basic. I haven't put a lot of money into the layout of the boat. I guess we'll start up the front. It's cable steering, nothing fancy, no hydraulics, nothing like that. Underneath here, I got the cover. I should have both covers for the Lowrance and the Garmin. This BCF duffel bag lives up the front, and it's just got all my safety gear in it. It does have a handle on it for live baiting if I do get a decent sized tailor and I don't have a light baiting rig on me. Just something simple I always have in a boat. It's got torches, flares, life jackets, V-sheets, my EPIRB, my marine radios, just there. Yeah, great way to keep all the gear together, and it's good, it's malleable, it's awesome. She can get thrown up the front there. The other things I've got here, I've got my fire extinguisher. I also have a couple rolls of dunny roll. I've put one in a cling lock bag just in case for whatever reason some water leaks down from the top. If that happened and my dunny roll got wet and then I had to use it, you know, you're sort of in for a bad time. I guess you jump it in the water to clean off. The other things I have up the front is I've got a milk crate that's just got about 100 meters of rope in it. That way it's for my anchor. I can sometimes put it back here, or it usually goes up underneath the front. It's an easy way, because this doesn't have an anchor well at the front, it's an easy way to transport the anchor around and sort of get it out of your way depending on what sort of fishing you're doing. Another thing I've got up the front, I've got 2 boxes, one with my vibes in it, that's just from Nomad, a couple of prawns in that one as well, and I've got a sort of my casting, trolling kit. A great tip for anyone who constantly gets rust in their tackle boxes, and you can see this one doesn't have a rubber gasket like this Nomad one does. What you do is you buy these little silica packets, or you can just keep them from stuff that you buy online, and what you do is you throw a couple in, and it actually keeps the moisture out of your tackle bags and your tackle boxes. I've got them all through my tackle boxes. I've got another 2 tackle boxes here. This one stores, that one's sort of my live baiting and bait setup. That's hooks, sinkers, little floats. This one here, all my hard bodies. There's a couple of casting lures in there that don't fit in the other one. In this one here, I've got, you know, sort of lines, hooks. I've got another tackle box. In this one, it's just sort of dead baiting. I've got all sorts of stuff in here. This is sort of just anything I need in the boat, I'll throw it in here in terms of fishing gear. Keep a pair of lip grips on the windscreen as well. I've also got this Railblazer mount here. I've got one for my fish finder, and it's really solid. It does move a little bit, but I've had this through some pretty rough conditions and it hasn't broken. I've got some here for these removable rod holders. I've got another one over here. They're awesome things. As you can see, I've got my fuse panel under here. A bit ugly, all the cables running everywhere, but it's all properly fused. Do not have anything unfused in a boat, because if something catches on fire, especially if you're further out offshore, the only place you can go is in the ocean. So yeah, make sure everything's properly fused. I've also got a little glove box just here. I've got my keys, the Watersnake controller, a couple of travel cams because I do sometimes get seasick. Just the general sort of stuff that you don't want ever getting fishy or wet in here. I just throw it in here and lock her up. Now this boat is very limited with storage, so I sort of have stuff all over the floor. Like this is a spares box. It has fuses, Anderson plugs, all sorts of just general tools you need to repair an engine with. I've got my brag mat. I've also got this PLA rod holder from BCF. Great thing. I've got pairs of pliers in there. I've got a small split ring pliers, my knife. I also throw lures that I've used throughout the day so I can give them a wash and put them back in tackle boxes. I've got a pair of Panthers. They're really good for just cutting up bait. They do get rusty a little bit. So do all these sort of things, as you can see. These pliers, they've seen better days, but I just give them a hit with WD-40 when I get home. I've got a pair of long nose pliers. They're awesome for fish with teeth that you don't want your fingers near. And this hook remover is if they've been gut shot, and or it's awesome to take live baits off. One thing with the flooring, it's only just marine carpet, so I've actually got a couple of these foam caravan camping sort of pads you see. You can get them from any camping store. I've just zip tied 2 together and it's super comfy underneath the foot, especially when you're driving around and you're hitting big waves. Because my floor doesn't go all the way to the side of the boat, just because of how it's shaped, you'd push the floor up really high and it sort of makes you feel unsturdy, so I've dropped it down, but that's caused there to be a bit of open area here. I've put some pool noodles down here just to stop fish and sinkers and hooks and stuff sliding down underneath, and then I have to take off the whole floor. These tie down points here are for a big esky that I sometimes use when I'm offshore fishing, just as something to lean up against, and also acts as a chopping board. I'll put a picture up on screen now to show you guys that. I've got a couple little buttons. One's the bilge and one is the driving lights for at night time. Third one's spare, a little voltmeter just so I can make sure my motor is happy charging the battery. I've just got a King's battery box. Inside it is just a generic marine battery. Now they say they aren't for marine conditions, and yeah, you do get some rust here and there, but all in all, it's survived about a year now and it is still in pretty good condition, so I can't fault it. I think they're 49 bucks on sale. You probably get them for cheaper. I have emergency fuel here. Yes, it's diesel, and yes, it also says 5-to-1 boat. That's because I've been through a couple of boats. One wasn't diesel, but that's just the jerry can I had sitting around the house. I've got my anchor light down here. I've got a 500 gallon per hour bilge pump there, which just plumbed and shoots out the back. Definitely need one. I almost was going to toss up putting an automatic one in. She's powered by a 44-stroke Yamaha. It's got, I believe, check, I think about 1,100 hours on it. No, sorry, 1,062 hours on it. That's a lot of hours. It does run a little bit rough around the 1,200 to the 1,300 range, just as you get up on the plane if you do it slow. But if you punch it, it's fine. The carbs just obviously need a retune. Great little engine, I cannot fault it. Quiet, efficient, everything you want out of an engine. But most importantly, reliable. That there, may as well just say I am reliable. Yamaha, indestructible in my opinion. It is electric start and trim, awesome, great features. I don't know if I'd ever have an engine that wasn't electric start and trim. Now, as I said, guys, the hull is about 1998, I think, from memory, but it is an absolute tank of a hull. One of my favorite features about the hull is this flared bow. As you can see, most tinnies would just run up sort of like that, whereas this hull shape actually is flared and it pushes the water up and out when you hit a big wave instead of coming up and over the front. Don't get me wrong, I've still had ones come up and over the front, but it keeps you super dry. It's a super awesome feature that Quintrex has on many of their boats, and they still produce them like this nowadays. Even though it's a small boat, you can really punch it hard through some big waves. Not that I always do, but when you do, it'll keep you dry. I've also got some rod holders at the back. I don't really use these, but just because they're so far back from where you are, and it's sort of hard to reach over this rear step. I do have rod storage, you can just see them down there, and then leans on these posts here, from these here. I don't really like it because it does smash your rod up straight on alley, and also the reels are sitting back here next to this fuel, so they're smashing around on the fuel canister. I sometimes put one in it, but usually it's either the net or a very small bait rod that you may have seen in some of my videos. Now, this is my live bank tank setup. It's super cheap, it's super awesome, but I'm gonna make a dedicated video for this because, you know, majority of this stuff you can search up online, but this live bait tank I reckon is awesome, and I really want to explain it in detail of how you can make one, not just exactly this one, but it gives you basically the whole idea of how to make one DIY on the cheap as well. So that's my 7.5-ish, probably around that grand budget setup boat. It's an awesome fishing weapon. It's taken me on some awesome trips, super reliable, super quiet, super efficient, doesn't break the bank. Just shows you guys that you can get out there on the budget and catch some fish. Anyway, hope to see you guys in the next one.